Welcome back. Republican presidential hopeful Ron DeSantis is fighting to win over potential voters as he trails former President Trump in the early polls. And he just finished an exclusive interview with CNBC Last Call's Brian Sullivan. It will air tonight at 7 Eastern. But Brian first joins us now from Tallahassee, Florida, with the preview. Brian, thanks for bringing this to us. What'd you learn?
Yeah, well, I learned it's very hot, by the way, in Tallahassee, so I'm going this way. And the interview, I think, at times was hot. 30 minutes, no holds barred. All CNBC subjects, by the way, economy, interest, taxes, debt, deficit, the stuff that our audience and CEOs, by the way, clearly care about. So wrap that today. And, of course, as you noted, the full interview will be on Last Call at 7 o'clock tonight. However, I want to share a few bits with you that I think, Kelly, I thought about these just for Kelly Evans, by the way. Number one, we talked about debts, we talked about the Federal Reserve, and we talked about interest rates. And I just said, listen, if you're elected, would you look to renominate Fed Chief Jay Powell?
I don't think he's done a good job. I mean, I think from COVID on, they put too much money into the economy. That drove the inflation. But then they said it was going to be transitory, that we had to unlearn Milton Friedman. No, when you start doing something like that, it's about 18 to 20 months, you are going to see inflation. And so they were behind the ball on that. And then they've hiked so much now, it's caused a lot of problems in the economy and could end up driving us into a recession.
Not a fan, obviously, there of the Fed chief, nor Janet Yellen, who he had referenced earlier on in the interview as well. So there you go. And I know, Kelly, we do a lot, your show, my show, whatever. We talk a lot about Congress and stock trading. Now, while the president, him or herself, does not have the ability to ban Congress from trading stocks, only Congress can ban Congress from trading stocks because they'd have to make a new law. I asked him if he thought or would work with Congress to try to stop a practice that ticks a lot of people off, people in Congress trading stocks often before critical legislation is passed.
I was a congressman for 3 terms. I sold all my stock before I went in because I used to do day trading. Not that I had a lot of money, but I would do it. I just stopped doing it because the thing is if I traded something, someone will then say maybe some vote was there, and I didn't even want the appearance of impropriety. And you look at how some of these people making windfalls. Look, maybe it's all on the level, but I think the average citizen looks at that and they say, you know what, these guys play by their own set of rules. So I'd get rid of that. I would eliminate congressional pensions for members of Congress. They have a 401k. They don't need both. And then I would impose term limits on members of Congress.
He also, Kelly, made some pretty strong comments about the size of the federal workforce and what he would do if elected to try to bring down debts and deficits. Again, just a couple little things, snippets there, full interview tonight at 7.
Yeah, we don't want to steal too much. He was a day trader. Man, that I find quite wonder if he was any good.
You're not the only one.
Yeah.
When he said that, I was like, you what? You went like on, I think he meant like on the side of being in Congress. I don't think he was like in some closet with a computer trading stocks. Either way, he would try to seek to ban it.
Right. Brian, what do you think is at stake here? I mean, he's trailing in the polls, but we will see him at the debate, correct, where we doubt the former president will show up.
Yeah, and by the way, the debate is next Wednesday, not in 2 days, but in 9 days' time. So it's already upon us. I think a lot's at stake, right? He just got back from Iowa. Yes, he's got a huge margin, according to the national polls. Some of the state polls look a little different. We didn't go into a lot of politics stuff. I'm going to leave that to some of the other channels and outlets. Kelly, mostly we focused on interest rates, debt, his economic plan, a lot about China also, by the way, and why he views them, quote, as an adversary, but knows we also have to work with them. So pretty wide-ranging 30-minute interview. He was fired up. I was fired up. Hard not to be fired up when it's like 103 degrees.
Sure. And by the way,
humid.
Taking some credit for Disney, but I won't steal from that. We can save that topic for a little bit later on. So we'll tease that for viewers so they know there's more coming. Brian, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Brian Sullivan down in Tallahassee. You can catch the full interview with the governor, Governor DeSantis, on the Last Call tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on CNBC.